All right, so the Rangers win 4-3 over the Nashville Predators in game 22 of the season. And I think we're all in agreement here of how we feel about this game. We're happy that they got the 2 points. We are not thrilled with the way that it went down because what did we get? The Cardiac Rangers. That's what we got for what part? How many this season? I digress though. I'm happy with the win, but there was definitely a lot of things to point out that were bad. And the main thing that I am not thrilled about is yet again the defensive play because of the fact that this has been now a problem for 6 of the last 7 or 7 of the last 8, whatever it is now. The defensive play has definitely been very concerning, but the offensive play, at the very least, you're happy about, especially with the way that they picked up offensively, I should say, because they weren't necessarily the best in the first period. They looked very slow in the first period, but we'll dive into all of that. And yeah, they got better as the game went along as a whole, but defensively, outside of the second period, they really did not give a good enough defensive effort in this game, in my opinion. And it's scary how they look tonight, given the fact that they're on a back-to-back. And yeah, they're playing the Sharks, but it's still a back-to-back, and you're going against rested professional athletes. And usually rested professional athletes have the edge. But yeah, the fact that you were in this hard of a battle against Nashville concerns me a little bit for tomorrow's matchup, but we'll talk about here in the now and this game. Before we do, be sure to leave a like on the stream if you do enjoy, subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Range fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. But let's talk about this game. First period, I wanted to vomit from that first period. I wanted to vomit. Igor Shesterkin tested way too much. He starts off making a glove save off of a shot from Sissons. Then he makes another stop on Foodie. Nashville, there's one thing that you knew right off the rip when you watched this play. It reeked of Andrew Brunette hockey that we saw with Florida, that we saw with New Jersey. It reeked of that play, and poor defensive turnovers leading to chances. Forsberg gets one off of a turnover. Then a shot on Igor. The rebound got loose. That was kept out. But Nashville would open up the scoring and make it 1-0 as they end up getting a goal, because this was just horrendous, by the way. The Rangers, I think they cleared the puck on this, but the ref ends up keeping it closer than it should have been. Then Nashville comes the other way. Keandre Miller goes way out of position, and Ryan O'Reilly's left wide open to shoot the puck and get a look. 1-0. Could Igor have stopped that? Yeah. Should that have happened? No. Should the Rangers have had that sloppy of a first period too? No. McDonough then stops Panarin's pass to Fox at the door, and the Rangers started to get going a bit in the first period. They had some good deep defensive plays from Schneider and Gustafsson on Trennan. Then the Rangers came the other way. Mika overpasses on one. Bonino deflects a Miller shot. I'm like, all right, fourth line gets a good shift. Maybe now we'll get going. And then Nashville all of a sudden comes the other way. They're pressing. They're getting a lot of shifts. Barclay Goodrow takes a penalty, of course. And 2-0 on the power play. Fox, he has a block, but then Yossi fakes him out the second try. And Roman Yossi with just a snipe of a goal. People argue Igor should have stopped this one too. You could, but again, he got tested way too much in that first period. The Rangers couldn't break the puck out. That first period was embarrassing, and we're flying by it as quickly as Nashville flew by the Rangers in that first period, because outside of after the first TV timeout, the Rangers played embarrassing in that first period. After the first TV timeout, they started to get things going a bit, but in their own end, horrendous. Breaking the puck out was impossible, it felt like. And yeah, sure, you credit Nashville for the way that they pressured on the forecheck and everything, but the Rangers played way too slow of a game. They were not matching that energy. They were not breaking through the neutral zone. They were not at all getting those type. I mean, they had 4 high danger chances at even strength like Nashville did, but it looked like they were the slower team. They were not getting those chances off the rush. They were not looking quick in transition. It looked like a nightmare. And I will say this, you got to appreciate my coach, our coach, Peter Laviolette, for what he did yet again as he works his magic. The second period, he rolls out different lineups. We get Bread, Mika, Laugh. He starts out, though, with Kreider, Trocheck, and Brzezinski. Whack. VC, Goudreau, Wheeler, and then Cooley, Bonino, Pitlick. I think those two lines flip technically for the third and fourth line, if you will. But regardless, it works right away. 31 seconds in, the Rangers, second line, new second line, great shift, great puck support, and all of a sudden, Trocheck behind the net to Trouba coming in, and he ends up scoring on the empty net 2-1, and Johnny Brzezinski would get the assist on that as well. So, good on Johnny Brzezinski because he had 2 assists. But yeah, great opening shift by that line. Great opening shift. And then Lindgren goes off for hooking after Nashville got their first good shift. O'Reilly fired wide on not fired, but he missed wide on a deflection. Rangers kill off the penalty. Fox then sets up Panarin for an opportunity alone. He's being selfish there, thankfully, instead of passing the Lafreniere, which I like. Try to throw Lakeinen off. He got denied, though. Nashville then takes a too many men. And then the Rangers on this PK, or this power play, I should say, terrible work. Turning the puck over nonstop. Zibanejad, what are you doing? And then the back check by him. Are we serious? Colton Sissons gets a breakaway, and he scores shorthanded. So all of a sudden, 3-1, felt like this team was dead in the water, and it felt like, yeah, this is going to be one of those where you burn the tape and you kick San Jose's ass tomorrow because there's not a shot they're winning this game. Then all of a sudden, the Rangers score on the power play. Fox puts one on goal, and Kreider ends up getting the rebound, and then he bats it in afterwards, too. Trocheck got the assist on that. I guess he deflected on the way. 3-2. Parson goes off for boarding then, and then the Rangers scored. That one technically was not on the power play. That was just after. This one, though, was on the power play. Great face-off win by Trocheck. The Rangers cycle the puck. Mika puts it right on the tape of Vinny Trocheck's stick, and he redirects it in. Vinny Trocheck, we'll talk more about him, but it's a 3-3 game all of a sudden. And I felt comfortable at that point that the Rangers were going to win the game, even though things got shaky at points, that's for sure. I felt comfortable, and I felt like the Rangers were going to win the game because of the way that this year has gone, because I've seen enough to know that, yeah, they were going to end up winning this game. Lindgren goes off for another high sticking penalty. The discipline, unacceptable in this game. Unacceptable. They took 4 penalties. They had 3 high sticking penalties, the Rangers, right? Yeah, 3. No. They had 2. Never mind. I thought the other Lindgren one was a high stick, but it was a hooking. 2 high sticking, though. Terrible. Goudreau's tripping. Terrible. Ryan Lindgren's hook may have stopped the goal, but the other one's just bad penalties there. Forsberg hits the post. The penalty gets killed off. Igor with a bad turnover. He makes the save to make up for it. But again, the Rangers played a very dominant second period at 5v5, at least in my opinion. Yeah, they allowed, how many high danger chances was it? They allowed 4 at 5v5. It felt like way less. I felt like they played better. They still definitely weren't perfect defensively, but I felt they were better defensively. And their offense, though, they matched the intensity that Nashville brought. They looked good in transition. They looked a lot quicker. Their forecheck was a lot more aggressive. And they had guys making a lot of blocks, though, too, even when the defense got loose. Gustafsson and Trouba at the end of that period made a lot of big blocks there. So I thought they played a pretty good second period. Then the third period rolls along. VC sets up Schneider for a wide open net chance. He misses because, of course, he does, because the Rangers are just allergic to that. Igor with a huge stop on Sherwood the other way as Schneider was falling on the back check. Coley goes off for a high sticking penalty. Then Forsberg hooks Mika Zibanejad. They don't call anything. They missed 2 brutal penalties on Nashville, both of them ironically on Mika Zibanejad that they didn't call. But Coley, though, afterwards, great play by him to stop Parsonen. Lakeinen then robs Lafreniere from a great feed from Zibanejad. Then the Rangers, though, would make it 4-3 as Lindgren gives it over to Trocheck, and it redirects in off of him. I think they changed the ruling of the goal, though. I think to Lindgren. Yeah, it's Lindgren's goal now. But Trocheck deserves an assist on this for holding his position, keeping the defender there, and it went off of him. So instead, Fox and Brzezinski with the assist on that one. Rangers get a chance to get an odd man rush. Blake Wheeler falls on it. We'll talk about him. Parson almost got a chance alone, stopped by Schneider. The fans wanted a trip. They didn't get that tripping penalty. Nashville got a long shift. Then Panarin strips it. 3-on-2 for the Rangers, and Panarin fires wide. Then a rush chance comes the other way for Nashville. They stop that. Then the Rangers make some good work in the neutral zone. Great defensive play by them. Then it leads to an offensive zone shift. And this was something that, again, you want to see more of, and something that I'm dying to know where it's been, because I feel like the defensive structure and this structure in the neutral zone has gotten lost a bit. More so the defensive zone, though, because I feel like in the neutral zone, they've been okay. But in the defensive zone, they definitely have struggled, and a lot of it's breaking the puck out, but there's still guys going out of position. But yeah, just not great work at all for the most part in the defensive zone. But they did make good work there in the neutral zone, like I said. Pitlick goes heavy on the forecheck. Schneider then gets a look again, and again he gets robbed. But that's an example of what you want to see the Rangers do over and over again. Make the plays in the neutral zone, bring it to the offensive zone, start getting the chances off of that. That's what you want to see more of. But the second line kept pushing. Nashville then gets a chance the other way from Parson, and he tries to stuff it in. Johnny Brzezinski, though, my hero, keeps that thing out of the net, thankfully. I'm nearly having a heart attack, hence why I'm not screaming my head off right now, and hence why I'm relaxed, because I already did most of the screaming and had most of the heart palpitations already. So I don't even know if I said that right, but regardless, yeah, I already had a heart attack. I was near going to faint in the moment there, so I'm a little more relaxed right now, if you couldn't tell. But Igor then makes a big stop on Sissons again. Fox, he went to the bench after blocking a shot. That's why that chance happened. Nashville kept pressuring McDonough. High sticks Mika Zibanejad. I didn't see it. So Nashville gets to just keep giving me a heart attack, keep pressuring, and Igor Shesterkin getting a lot of hate from Ranger fans. And I'll say I've been critical, and I've been one of the fans that have wanted to see better from Igor Shesterkin, but there is no getting it twisted here. He has, when he's needed to step up, he really dialed in and stepped up after that first period. He dialed in and stepped up. There is no denying that. Would you have liked for him to stop the shorthanded goal? Sure. But I still can't be too mad, because it's inexcusable to turn the puck over like that on your power play. But Miller hits the post on an empty net chance, and the Rangers end up winning the game, though. So yeah, shots in the game were 39-27 in favor of Nashville. The expected goals at 5v5 were surprisingly closer than you probably would have thought. 2.71 for Nashville, 2.25 for the Rangers in all situations, though. Yikes, 4.42 for Nashville, 2.96 for the Rangers. So pretty much tells you the score should have been the other way around in this one, and the Rangers ended up just getting away with it, getting away with the win. But then if you look at Money Puck, you get a different result. It pretty much says it was a 4-goal apiece at expected goals situation. At 5v5, they were dead even, it says. So you use whichever ones you want. I like using natural stat tricks more personally, but that's just me. So yeah, I thought that, again, the defense just very sloppy yet again. Very sloppy. And the expected goals say it, the high danger chances against, they had 13 high danger chances against at even strength. In all situations, they had 19. Not acceptable. I will give them credit, the Rangers, that they responded with 12 of their own at 5v5. But do you want to be in this type of run and gun style of hockey just to match your opponent? Not really. I'd prefer for the Rangers to stick to their game, stick to their brand, and play the defensive hockey that we saw them playing earlier on in the year that was winning them games. Granted, yes, they are still winning games, so you can't really complain. But for me personally, I just feel it's more sustainable if they're playing that defensive style of game. But who knows? Whatever works, works. It is what it is. I just don't like the way that game went down. But I'm happy that they got the 2 points. There's just a lot of concerns there too, with guys on that blue line. Like Keandre Miller again did not have a good game. We've been saying that a lot recently. Ryan Lindgren did not have a good game. We've been saying that a lot recently. Took too many penalties in this one. Who else had a bad game? I don't know if I could say anyone else for certainly did outside like Blake Wheeler, who has just been a non-factor. Like the only thing he's good for is falling, right? Like that's all he's good for. The second line, very good though. That new second line, if you want to talk about good, Trocheck, Kreider, and Brzezinski, they were at the top of the chart, and rightfully so. They all look good. Johnny Brzezinski, in my opinion, was the best player for the Rangers in this game, though, tonight. He was the only one that really provided good play on both sides of the puck, in my opinion. So my nod goes to Johnny Broadway for the good play there, and especially stopping that goal that could have came there late. So Johnny Brzezinski is my hero. He's an American hero in my eyes. So I love what we saw from him. I love that second line. I loved, again, the adjustment and the changes from Laviolette, because it wasn't just the difference between what we saw under Gallant and what we're seeing with Laviolette is it's not just changing the lines. There was a structure change too. The Rangers were noticeably quicker moving the puck. They were noticeably quicker going through the neutral zone. They were noticeably quicker and more aggressive on the forecheck. They were a lot better on offense in that in the second period and on. So credit to Peter Laviolette, as always. He pushed the right buttons yet again. Pushed the right buttons. And yeah, I'm overall not too thrilled because of the way they played defensively. Got to clean that up. But again, you still take the 2 points, and you're happy, I guess, about how they could play offensively. Fox, he looked good offensively. Definitely a concern defensively for Fox, but I'm not worried. I'm not too worried about Fox. He's still probably a little banged up, and he'll be fine. He's the last guy I'm worried about, because outside of that, either way, there's a huge drop-off in how the guys played in this game, in my opinion, and the charts back it up too. Like, there was really not a whole lot of guys that stood out in this game, unfortunately. But yeah, the Rangers grab the two. Grab the two and then move on to playing San Jose. Move on to playing San Jose tomorrow at 6 o'clock at the Garden. Then what's coming up on the schedule after that? We got Ottawa, a 3-day break. I'm going to lose my mind. Washington, then they play. That's going to be interesting. Laviolette coaching against his former team. LA, Toronto, Anaheim, Boston. That's what the 2 weeks are looking like. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know really if I have much more to add. And it's probably surprising you guys that I'm more calm than normal. I can't help it right now. One, I'm still sick, so I can't really help it. Two, I nearly had a heart attack watching this hockey game. So, yeah, I'm not overall too pissed off because they're still winning games. And is it sustainable? Who knows? We'll see. But the fact that they are at 17 wins right now means something. And let's see. Let's see how this keeps going. Let's see how this keeps going. And yeah, the NHL posted about the Rangers having 17 wins, frauds, first round exits, President's Trophy curse, gonna get blown out by whoever they play, choking in the playoffs, get blown out by the Sabres still. I love reading through these replies. Love reading through it. Love reading through it because I heard all offseason that I was stupid. That was stupid for having faith. Here we are. Here we are. Cardiac Rangers, though. Let's get to the chat and see what you guys have to say. Don't tell me this is broken. Don't tell me the chat's broken. Thank you. Fixed it. All right, let's see. Dimitri, what's going on? What a gutsy comeback win. Igor was stellar down the stretch. That I agree with. Igor made some big stops. By the way, forgot to mention too, before I get to the chat fully, leave a like if you didn't. And feel free to I'm not saying it's needed, but if you want to send a super chat, all super chats are appreciated. I appreciate all forms of support. Not to continue to rag on Wheeler, but he's atrocious. He looks like oh god, wow. That's wow. Damn. I wow. All right. Yeah, Blake Wheeler is how do I put this? Oh, cooked. Cooked. He's cooked. And I like doesn't Blake Wheeler feel like the Sammy Blais of this year? Right? Like it feels inevitable that he's going to be gone come the deadline and that's the spot they're going to upgrade. But for whatever reason they're deciding to hold on to him until then. Until around the deadline. Like it feels like he's the Sammy Blais this year. Arguably worse, which is what's even more scary to be honest. Cardiac Rangers yet again. This team wins games. Gallant Rangers win like this one. Yeah, no, Gallant Rangers would like this one. This felt like a Gerard Gallant game, unfortunately. Yeah, that I agree with. Having a guy like Benino is nice to help out. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, Barclay Goodrow being out there instead used to be a nightmare. Johnny Broadway with two helpers. All right. I love that everyone's calling him Johnny Broadway. I just randomly came up with that nickname because people were calling him Johnny Hockey. I'm like, listen, we can't be calling him Johnny Hockey. It's Johnny Gaudreau's nickname. I'm like, let's get a little creative. His last name starts with B. He's playing in New York. Let's call him Johnny Broadway. And here we are calling him Johnny Broadway. I love it. I hope we don't have a letdown tomorrow, considering the Sharks looked really good last night against the Devils. It's a trap game for sure, as well as against the Sens. I agree with both. The Sharks scare me tomorrow more, and tomorrow scares me more for the fact that I'm worried that the Rangers are going to. They played such a hard effort in this game that they might play sloppy tomorrow, and it might lead to San Jose winning. But I'm sure David Quinn will tell him that it was all his genius coaching if San Jose wins tomorrow, because that guy loves to give himself credit and nobody else. But because, yeah, you're the one that developed Adam Fox. You're the one that made Mika Zibanejad out of the player he did, right, David Quinn? Sorry, I just had to go on a rant there. But Ottawa scares me too a bit just because of the fact that they're a team that's playing with their coach's job might be on the line. They might play with some fire. I don't know. Resilient team. Love the comeback. Igor's fantastic. I agree. That game was pretty gross. Yeah. The good thing is that they're all worth 2 points. Need to bring a better defensive effort tomorrow if they want to win, since it's a back-to-back. Preach. Preach. Yeah, they didn't play their best, but they found a way. You're right. Nashville always seems to play us tough, makes us look bad, kind of like the Islanders. Yeah, I don't know what it is every time the Rangers play Nashville. I have engraved that stinker where they lost 1-0 against them like 2 years ago, and I was at that game. Oof, oof. And the Knicks played earlier that day. The ice was all sloppy. Oof, oof, oof. That was a tough. That's a tough one to read. That's a tough one to read. Yeah, that's the thing that you could. That's the biggest positive that you could take away from this game is that coaching. This coach knows what he's doing. Like, did we need further proof, or are we going to need further proof? I mean, hopefully he keeps proving it, especially come playoff time. That's even more important because playoff time, we know that's when it really matters. But regardless, yeah, I trust the man behind the bench to make the adjustments when needed. Damn, everyone's getting on Kako. I mean, fair enough. He has not been good. Kako has not been good. Nick, what's going on? How you doing? The Hawks played today, right? They played today. Uh, you know what I've noticed? These teams seem to come at us in the first period, uh, burning in the third period. If you mean like the Rangers look sloppy in the first and then or like teams play them harder in the first and then the Rangers step up late. I don't know. I don't know. Like the Rangers do need to get better at starting games on time a little better. When is Hedel coming back? I'm not sure yet. Not sure yet when we're seeing Philip Hedel. He has not been skating with the team even. Alex Zibanejad with Laugh and Panarin. I thought they were okay. I thought they were okay, but the only thing that worries me about that line is the thing that we talked about with the Rangers team post deadline last year with the whole too many cooks in the kitchen thing. But that and just I don't know. Like I feel like Trocheck was such a pest to be on that line, and it was the perfect fit for that. But I don't know. I could be wrong, and hopefully it's. Hopefully, we're seeing Kane Panarin type chemistry from Lafreniere and Panarin to the point where it doesn't matter who's playing with those two, who's centering them. Because let's remember, Kane and Panarin had Artem Anisimov centering them in Chicago, and that line still was so good. So, and Mika Zibanejad's better than that. Obviously, I'm not saying Lafreniere is as good as Patrick Kane was then, but can he be? Who knows? Is the chemistry there? Yes, the chemistry is at least there. Yeah, the middle of the ice in front of Igor was a problem. Yeah. And the thing that concerns me the most about that is we saw them practicing defending the house yesterday. I think it was in practice, and that didn't really translate. Yeah, Will Coley making this team really was a blessing because I'm curious to see where this team would be without him and other guys getting a bigger role. Yeah, Vinny just wins faceoffs. Yeah, Fox didn't have a great game. Well, offensively, I thought he had a solid game, like a respectable game, but defensively, yeah, no, he was not good today. Fox was not good defensively. But I'm not worried about Fox, like you said, Joe Shane Train. I'm not worried yet about Fox. Let's say I don't know which heart attack was worse for me, the Rangers or your quote tweeting that fake John Heyman account. Oh my God. I love how people were like, delete, delete. And it's like, I get why, because they probably thought I fell for the bait. But I read the at right away. I was like, yeah, there's no way this is actually happening right now. There would be way more buzz going on if Juan Soto got traded to the Blue Jays. And I was like, you know what? Let me mess with the Yankee fans. Yeah, I think Laviolette's gonna end up sticking to those lines. The only change I would make is have Wheeler with Coley and not Gaudreau. Uh, I guess like those two together. Yikes! You gotta feel for Jimmy VC. You gotta feel for Jimmy VC being with those two. Yeah, Pitlick was has been good. I've loved Pitlick's play. Feel that every Ranger fan owes Laviolette a massive apology after showing that he can make adjustments. I tweeted about this earlier, a similar thing, and people got mad at me because they're like, "Oh, you've been wrong about stuff before too." Duh, we've all been wrong about stuff. The difference is if you're accountable when you're wrong and you stand on your feet and you admit and you stand or you stick your chest out and stand on your take and just admit you were wrong versus trying to back it or backtrack it. Like that's the thing that annoys me the most on the internet is when people get on you for being wrong, but it's like they'll say something that's wrong too, but the difference is you'll admit if you're wrong, but the people that are getting on you for being wrong would never admit if they were wrong about something. So, yeah, it's a bizarre world. But yeah, with Laviolette, the apologies. I will wait and put that apology form out when it's the right time. I'm not saying when that time is, but the right time, I will put that form out. And then everyone could apologize to Laviolette. My coach. My coach. I don't think that's his LTI. There's no such thing as LTIR expiring unless you mean that's when he's eligible to come off LTIR. I'm pretty sure he's eligible earlier than that. Yeah, I agree. Benino will be better on that fourth line. I really wonder now, though, since Wheeler finally got moved down to that fourth line, if maybe we're going to see Wheeler in the press box when Filipino comes back. Please, 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 please let that be the case. It's so obvious. It is so in your face obvious that it needs to be either Goudreau or Wheeler in the press box when Hedel comes back. Not Johnny Brzezinski. No, 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 no. Keep my guy Johnny Broadway in the lineup if he's going to play like this, too. There is not a chicken shit's chance Blake Wheeler deserves to be in the lineup when this team's fully healthy again. Not a chance. Are we going to be pretenders or contenders come playoff time? Ask me that question in February, March, and April. Because what have we seen be a common theme over the past few seasons? We see a lot of sloppy hockey, if you will, early on from a lot of teams. And it really takes until later on the season to get an idea of who the legit teams are and who the not so legit teams are. It kind of takes a very long time to figure that out. And teams change how they play down the stretch to get more in the playoff gear. So, yeah, I don't know. It's too early for that question. I'm hoping, obviously, contenders. Yeah, the entire coaching staff's great too. Let me not forget to give credit to Housley, Muse, Pekka. All of them get credit. When should Othman get the call? Next season, unless he goes on a historic tear in the AHL these throughout the rest of the season. And yeah, Benny too, by the way. Yes, you're right about Benny. But yeah, unless he goes on an insane stretch, let him over marinate. Like, I don't want the Rangers to do what they've done time and time and time and time and time and time and time again, where they rush prospects up. Because look at a guy like Braden Schneider right now, who is inconsistent a lot. I still feel they rushed him up. Granted, he didn't look out of place when he was up. I had this conversation with Joey on Ice Cold Takes and Nick yesterday. We had a full conversation there. Go check it out. But he didn't look out of place when he was called up. But still, he came up at a very young age. Keandre Miller came through at a very young age. Like, there's a lot of guys that the Rangers usually just rush through, and let Othman just over marinate. Like Will Coley too. Look at what Look at what we're seeing with Will Coley. He got a cup of coffee last year because there was injuries. Fine, but he spent pretty much all of last year in Hartford. Really learned what it's like to be a pro, and then he came into the preseason freaking buzzing and earned his spot. So that's my take on Othman. Like, I get why people want Othman up, especially because of what we saw in the preseason. But as we've seen, the preseason does not mean anything because Lafreniere looked like garbage in the preseason. I was ready to bring him to the airport. I owe him a massive apology. He looks good. Kaapo Kakko, I was ready to I was ready for the breakout year. I was popping bottles thinking we were going to get the Kaapo Kakko we drafted. Nope. Jonathan Quick, I thought there was no way he could be the backup going into the year in the preseason. Preseason you could only take so much from it. But yeah, I would just let Othman over marinate in Hartford. Like, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. The only way they really should call him up is if they are desperate for a spark. And if it gets to that point, that's concerning. So I'm going to knock on wood and hope it doesn't. But yeah, that's like the only way. And sure, maybe in the playoffs like they did with Kreider, but should they? Like, by then, they're going to have deadline ads unless they really feel they need to fill a need. But even then, I don't know if he's on the depth chart over Johnny Brzezinski. I don't know if he's going to make the depth chart over Adam Edstrom even. Don't know if he's on the depth chart over Riley Nash. Don't know if he's on the depth chart over who's the other veteran. I'm forgetting that. Oh, yeah, Alex Belzile. So, I don't know. Yeah, the only thing preseason should tell you is that hockey is almost back. Yeah, I learned that the hard way this year with my irrational takes. And again, goes back to the conversation we had. I'll admit I was very irrational with a lot of my takes in the preseason. Very irrational. I'm happy to have been wrong about a few of them. Kakko one. Not so happy to have been wrong about that. I was ready for him to be one of the guys. Holy crap, I need the cough. I just start dying in the middle of sentences now with this illness I have. Who do you like as potential right wingers at the deadline? I know people don't like when we talk deadline, but I'm going to bring it up because it was brought up in the chat Elias Lindholm, or or I don't know if Nick's here. I don't think he is, but Nick, I'm on that Mangiapane bus with you, man. I'm on the Mangiapane bus with you. And Sea Jets, Nick, that is. Exactly. Yeah, he's not tearing it up. Let him develop. Duclair. I'd have to dive deeper into Duclair. Like, he has respectable numbers, considering he's on the San Jose Sharks of all teams, too. But I don't know. Like, there's something about Duclair that I don't like. I don't know. People freak out about. People were freaking out about a guy like Patrick Kane who didn't help out on the other side of the puck. And I would not particularly say Anthony Duclair helps out on the other side of the puck in any way. If I'm looking at his charts right now, and he's very much in the red in those defensive statistics. And it's not even like he puts up a ridiculous amount of points to make up for it. Again, I get he's on the Sharks, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm on the Duclair train like most are. Would I be opposed if the Rangers brought him back? Like, would I be mad? No, I wouldn't be mad, but it wouldn't be like, it just wouldn't be my favorite. Taylor Hall is out for the year. He had ACL surgery, so that's a no-go. Then you have Tarasenko reunion potentially. I don't know if I want to go the whole Tarasenko route again. Like, it was cool when he was here last year, but they didn't want to bring Kane back. Why would they want to bring Tarasenko back too? Like, I don't know. And people will probably be like, well, Tarasenko was better. And to each their own, you could debate that. But to me, it's like, why? The whole argument with Kane is that the team was worse when he was here. Tarasenko, you could argue that too. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'd go the whole Tarasenko route again either. Again, would I be mad? No. Is it my favorite option though? No. Like, my favorite option's easily Lindholm or Mangiapane. I think going in a newer direction. The only guy I really would want a reunion with, if it's possible, is Frank Vetrano. Like, Frank Vetrano would be the only guy I'd want a reunion with out of any of the former Rangers. Huberdeau's not happening. The Rangers could not fit that in, even if Calgary ate half of his cap, and there's not a chance another team's cutting that down even more. Not a chance. Yeah, I don't know why they kept Gaudreau over Vetrano. Yeah, you can move Hedel to the right wing, but who's playing third line center then? Nick Bonino still? Nah, you can't do that. Gord or Eberle? I I'm on board with Gord. Jordan Eberle. I think I'd be on board with Eberle too. I don't know the type of year he's having, but that's a guy that I feel like could fit in. But I can't stress enough how perfect Mangiapane would be as a fit, and like C-Jet's already uh beat the drum crazy enough, but he's just such the perfect fit. Like, he skates his bag off. He's a pain in the ass and puts up the points. He does everything. He does everything. I want to look at his metrics for yeah. Oh yeah. His metrics are just great. outside of like 1 year defensively, and oh no, it's a tad bit in the red. And that was it last year when Calgary sucked? Yeah, it was a tad bit in the red. Oh no. Yeah, Mangiapane would be oh, Mangiapane would be a good fit. Reunion with Copp? No, his cap hits way too high, and I don't think Detroit's moving him. And I don't want Copp back. I don't. I felt Copp was way too much of a passenger here, and way too much of a Panarin product. And look at what he's done in Detroit. He has not been good in Detroit. He's not living up to that contract at all. But Toronto is good, but is he really a first line right winger? He fit there. He fit there. Sometimes it's more a matter of fit. Blake Coleman. No. No, no, no. If you're calling Calgary, it's gotta be for Elias Lindholm or Andrew Mangiapane. Unless you want to make an upgrade on the back end too and get Noah Hannafin. But even then, I don't know where he'd really fit in there. But I don't really want Blake Coleman. I'm not a big Blake Coleman guy. Ugh, Luke, I mentioned this at one point. I don't remember if I mentioned it on a podcast, but I would love Brock Nelson on this team. He'd be a perfect fit. Tarasenko could come back, yeah. DeBrusque, I don't think's happening. Ryan Hartman, what's his contract looking like? Because that could actually be a very intriguing fit. Yeah, they just extended him. Ryan Hartman's not happening. That's I love Ryan Hartman. That's not happening. They just extended him. Besser, Vancouver's not selling. Boone Jenner would be a fun fit. I would not be opposed to Boone Jenner, but I don't think Columbus is trading their captain when he has 2 years left after this. And yeah, I just don't see it. His 12 goals on the year. Wow. I don't see them moving Boone Jenner, especially to the Rangers. Zook, I don't think Zook's happening. The Rangers have no room for Zook's extension because you have to remember if the Wild eats salary, that's only for his current contract right now. It doesn't eat salary for his contract next year unless there's a way to go get away with that. I don't think so. So it would be this year's contract only. I don't think Zook's happening. I'd love Zuccarello back, but I don't think that's happening. Athanasiou. That's a guy that I thought about last year. I don't know if I'm on board with Athanasiou this year as much as I was last year. Last year, I was definitely more intrigued. Uh, who are the big free agents this offseason? We're jumping the free agency. All right. Um, if you really want to jump to free agency next offseason, you have Tarasenko, Nylander's the big name. Reinhardt's a big name. You have Gensel, Stamkos, Toffoli, Pavelski, Lindholm. Yeah, Garnet Hathaway would be a good ad too, but I don't think that's happening. I think he has an extra year left. Jason Zucker would be ideal. That's another guy. I don't know if I'm as big on Zucker as I once was. I'd have to look at how he's doing. Yeah, like, I don't know if I'm on board with Jason Zucker. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. That's not a sell for me. That's not a sell for me. What you could sell me on that nobody's mentioned is if Detroit does end up selling is not the guy that wears 88 currently, but the guy who switched from number 88, Daniel Sprong. You could sell me on Daniel Sprong. That's for sure. I wonder if the Rangers want to add an asshole at the deadline too, because Pat Maroon's available, and that would be pretty funny to me. Yeah, Frank Vetrano obviously would be awesome. Yeah, Zook would be nice, but get Perry. That's a guy that I wanted in the offseason, and now this whole thing happened. It's like, yikes, yikes. I mean, an asshole on the ice, not off, not off the ice, not off the ice, and on the ice, asshole. I disagree with that completely, Dominic. Matt Zuccarello has been a huge, huge part of Kirill Kaprizov's success. I disagree with that. Have to disagree with that. But I could go all night with this conversation. I think I'll save it for a podcast. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Please leave a like if you didn't already. I really would appreciate it on your way out. You guys are killing it with the support. Let's see if we can get to 50 likes again on this stream because you guys have been consistently giving me, I think, like 50 likes pretty much every stream now, right? Pretty much every stream has it been? Yeah, 50. Now 33 on the Buffalo one, but still 78 on that Boston one, 64.50. You guys are killing it with the likes. I would appreciate if you guys haven't to leave a like right now. And yeah, don't really know if I have much more to say on the road to the 2K subscribers. Hopefully we could get there soon. So let's hope. What hat is this? This is the playoff hat from last postseason, and signed by a famous duo. Signed by a famous duo here. Artemi and Showtime. I was lucky enough to get them the same night. The same night I got them. And I was like, nobody else is signing that hat. That is too perfect, and that is a sign that nobody should sign this hat. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm done rambling. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you all. You're the greatest. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Let's go Rangers.